This episode is brought to you by Computer Solutions R Us. Phil and his team hooked us up with all of our computers, and you can do the same for you. Head over to Phil at Computer Solutions R Us and tell him Inside the Game sent you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Game, your one-stop shop for everything cool in video games. I'm one of your hosts, Drew Bosley. Before we get started, don't forget to head to our website, insidethegame.ca, where there, over on our forums page, you can be a part of the show. Now, coming up in today's show, it's a brand new year, which means 2018 had a jam-packed lineup full of video games. So welcome to the very first ITG Video Game Awards.
Alright guys, so now on a happier note, we are talking about Best Party Game. Overcooked 2, Team 17.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Nintendo.
Schwip, Jamhammer Games.
Jackbox Party Trivia, Jackbox Games.
Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo. Alright boys, so this is a really tough category because like I said, I think we all feel very similar on some things and very different, but in the end it's all fun and our experiences were amazing.
Well, yeah, it was quite an interesting year when it comes to a party game, right? Because you were saying not too long ago that it is kind of one of those things that's a pickup when you got a crowd around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you go back to it, and then you're off to other games, and you come back to it again when everybody's around. We do a lot of these games for our Game On segment, and we played a lot of them for that, and we've had a blast, and the competition is... Right?
Yeah. Competition is fierce when none of us know what we're doing.
No, it's a disaster sometimes.
But that's what makes these games fun, is that you don't have to know what you're doing to have fun playing these games.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say pretty much all of them on the list I feel that way about. Maybe Super Smash falls out of that category a bit because there is a little more of a learning curve with that style of game.
Yeah.
But it does fall into the party game category. It's a couch co-op style game.
Yep.
And the iteration that they came out with this year on the Switch that game is so much fun to play.
Everybody can play it.
It's visually intense. When we played it in our Game On segment, I didn't even know where I was half the time, and I would consider myself a seasoned Smash player.
Where I find that's a problem.
Yeah.
For me, losing your character in the middle of a game is an issue.
Especially when you have to stay on the stage, and if you don't know where you are, that can be difficult to do. Yeah,
That's fair.
But it's a well-made game.
It's so polished, right? Like Nintendo is always at the top of the game when it comes to a polished title. It isn't one of those 6 months later, here's more content that should have been in the game. It's just here's, for the first time, more content.
Here's every character that's ever been in a Smash game. Here's what looked like 40, 50 maps or stages on there.
There's so many.
And the transitions between stages that you can choose. You can have, start on one stage and then halfway through the match it goes to another one. Like, that's wild. That's so much fun. But again, it's one of those games that if you're just jumping into it, you're gonna have a difficult time as if you're playing people that have played it before, even if you're playing the computer.
Yeah, it can be really chaotic, I found a lot of the time. But also another game that has a lot of chaos in it is Overcooked 2, and you're trying to chop everything and then
Chop.
cooking, and then it's boiling over here, and then you're on flames over on the side. But it is so much fun because you're just barking out orders, but it's just hilarious. It is such a blast to play with everybody all at once.
Again.
Where are the tomatoes? Get the tomatoes! Yeah, no, but it's one of those games. It's just fun to play. Like, it's not always the easiest one to get into, and there's only a couple button commands.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You got a game that, your left joystick, and then you got a dash, and basically an action button. And then everything else is just the maps move around, or the stages move around on you sometimes, or there's so many variations of what you have to do in that game, and it's all based around the same ideas where you're just filling orders and you're putting the plates out and then you're cleaning the plates and then filling them up again. But the way you have to do it can be maddening almost. And when you're playing with friends and it's a 2v2 kind of thing like we did in our show, you have to be your communication has to be there. If it's not there, literally, you will set things on fire.
We failed so bad.
We did so bad. True. Killed it?
Yeah.
But it was that experience of everybody just having a good time all at once, right? And that's what a party game is for.
Mm-hmm. And they took a big step forward from the first Overcooked. Overcooked, the original game, was fun, but they came out with Overcooked 2, and they added a couple different things when it comes to throwing the ingredients and stuff like that. And it's brought the game to the next level, but again, it's just one of those party games you sit down and you be like, hey, check this game out, and somebody would probably become hooked playing this game.
Yeah,
Dude, you gotta save the Onion Kingdom from the unbread.
Yeah. And you know what?
Bread.
Stuff like that just makes that game even just that, it's that cutesy thing, but it just makes it that much more fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then of course we have one of our personal favorites, Schwip.
Schwip is, I love Schwip.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
such a
People might
blast.
not know what Schwip is. It's,
That's fair.
but it's a fun game. They need to know what it is, and that's why it's on this list.
Absolutely. So this is a group of guys. We met 2 guys down in Toronto at EGLX, Jamhammer Studios. These guys they just made a hockey game, which is super simple, right? But it's just chaos to score, but there's different game modes, but it's just fun. It is simple to get into, easy to jump into, and you're instantly laughing and yelling at everybody.
They need to bring it to consoles so
They
that
really
party
do.
mode can really be more accessible.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a couch co-op game. That's a game you want to sit down with your friends. Maybe you're having people over and play that game because somebody's gonna walk by and be like, "What are you guys playing?"
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple looking game. It looks great. I mean, there's not much to it, but just the effects of the game look fantastic. And then it's just I wanted to play more after we finished playing Game On. I mean, I may have lost and I wasn't doing great, but I wanted to play more of that game because it flows, it's fun, it's fast. The turnover's quick. You're going between rounds real fast. So you lose one, you get a chance to the next one, right? And we saw with the way some of our scores went. I mean, you could be the 0-1 game and the hero the next. So it's that's what makes that game so much fun.
Yeah.
It was addicting to me. I loved the game. Schwip was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
And then of course we're going for fast-paced, a little bit slower pace with Jackbox.
My name
But
is
I think
Cookie,
Jackbox
and
really kind of
it's been about 4 years since I've hosted a trivia
because there's
game.
such a huge variety of different things you can do with it.
I mean, we're
All
on to
right,
what
Justin
Jackbox
Timberlake,
5
I see
now,
you are going
and they've
solo.
come out with so many different types of games within their grouping of games. There's just
Hang on
something
tight,
new.
we're in
Like
for a
Jackbox
ride.
5 has the robot rap battles.
Yep.
And I mean, if you've never played Jackbox, you gotta sit down with some friends and play this
First,
game. It's so much
fart
fun. All you need is
science.
your console, download it, and
Someone
then your
measured
mobile
your
device
fart
to
in
answer your
pascals.
questions.
What
And it's
parts
so
of
much
your
fun.
fart
Everybody's
would
got
they
a
be
phone, so
measuring?
if you've got the game,
The mass
anybody
of
can
your
play.
fart, the
And that's
duration
what
of your
makes it so much
fart,
fun. I
the
love
pressure
it.
of your
It's
fart,
a
or
great
the
game.
frequency
Like you
of your
never
fart.
get tired of any of the
Okay,
games
let's
in
take a
the
look.
Jackbox platform.
A
Like, I've never
pascal
had
is a
experience
unit
where I'm
of
not
pressure,
laughing at
1
least
newton of
5
force
times.
per square
and I
meter.
mean, depending on who you're playing with, it even amplifies that.
Scientists are
just
still
above what the
figuring
game
out how to
gives you.
measure
That's
how
what makes
gross
it
you
just
are.
so great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, last but not least, we have Mario Tennis Aces.
That was a little bit disappointing, you gotta be honest, this year. As much as it's nice to get everybody together and smashing the ball back and forth, it just didn't feel like the tennis game we've had in the past for Mario.
Back on 64, I believe it was, maybe GameCube. It's been so long, but
Yeah.
I think it was the first Mario Tennis. But man, that game had me hooked when I was a kid.
It was fun. Mario Tennis was challenging, but it was fun. And just being able to play as those characters doing that, I think, especially as a kid, was a lot of fun. But you're right, this one's just not what everybody necessarily wanted.
That's fair.
But it was a big party game this year, so I think that's why it makes this list. It's just, it may not hold up to some of the other ones we got out here.
Definitely. All right, and the winner is Overcooked 2 by Team 17.
And here are our choices for first-person shooter games of the year. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Treyarch.
Battlefield 5, DICE.
Far Cry 5, Ubisoft.
Destiny 2 Forsaken, Bungie.
Overkill's The Walking Dead, Overkill Software. All right, guys, so we're talking first-person shooter of the year. We got some pretty good titles on there. I'm pretty indecisive, but I think I know what I'm going to pick for this. But what do you guys think? Call of Duty? They really stepped it up this year with, the Blackout.
Big changes
and
for them
really-
this year.
Yeah.
A COD game most people have never seen before, and nobody's seen before with the Battle Royale aspect.
That's fair, yeah.
Some of the on-the-go healing, the way they've got it in the game, I thought was great. I mean, it's a COD game. You know what you're getting, but they seem to do it every year. They change up the game enough to get people that even aren't, not COD fans, live and die COD fans. They get other people involved in these games. So you get the Battle Royale piece of the pie going for them now. You're going to bring a whole new crowd of people into this game. And you notice it when you're on the community. You know the games are always full, the Blackout's busy, it's not easy.
Nope.
I was disappointed though. There's no story
campaign.
now.
No.
The campaign is gone this year,
And
right?
Black Ops, their campaign's pretty much been the strongest point. Not
It's been one of the strongest
Their
features
strongest
in
campaigns
the
out of
Call
all
of
the
Duty
Call of
series.
Duty.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
The campaign's always been something you want to play through, and I don't play through many single-player campaigns. I'm a multiplayer guy myself.
Yeah.
But COD was always the game that I played through the single player because the story was great.
Yeah.
But is it enough this year to win first-person shooter of the year? If it's if it's gone, the campaign is gone. It's based on multiplayer only.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're going up against Far Cry 5, completely different.
Yeah.
But now we have co-op, story, and there's multiplayer. So you got everything. But again, Far Cry 5, I don't think is really
Does
that.
the gameplay really meet?
It's solid, but again, it's just a Far Cry game, right? You know what you're in for with Far Cry from Ubisoft. And it's a fun experience. The story's cool, and the bad guy is nuts like always.
It just wasn't that. It wasn't that Far Cry game that everyone's like, oh my goodness, you've tried this game.
Well, yeah,
It's leaving you wanting a little more.
Yeah, it wasn't like Primal Orb. It was like, wow, this is great. It was.
Yes.
Far Cry 3 for me was fantastic.
I never played that.
Oh man, are you missing out? That was when they remade it though. That's what they did this year. Is when if you went pre-ordered Far Cry 5, you would then get the remastered version of Far Cry 3. So there's a bonus incentive there, but it's still not enough if you're gonna base it just on Far Cry 5. But when we talk about Bungie and the comeback, what I consider of Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is mostly for me.
This is all, yeah,
But
for sure. You
no,
played
man,
tons.
they have just they've really stepped up their game because I was salty about Destiny 2 for a while.
I know you
It
were.
Came out,
So was I.
Dude, I came out, and when we reviewed it, I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Shame on
This
you.
is a shame because, but I don't know. I guess there's those butterflies and
Destiny
sunshine.
fanboy here. I mean, that's fair, but you
Yeah.
enjoy the game, and they make a good game. That's why.
It was good, but after playing it more and more, and you know, I was just like, you guys, they changed way too many things. They took a step, you know, a leap of faith, and then they fell miserably. Whereas with this, they're like, all right, guys, let's listen to the fans for the most part. They haven't entirely,
Sure, yeah.
but Forsaken is what Destiny has always, it's what it should have been forever.
That's fair.
You know, like they've nailed it with this new game type mode.
Gambit.
The story is awesome. The cutscenes are awesome.
That's it. Now I'm pissed.
Like it's really just it was with Destiny, like I said, it should have.
It's a solid shooter.
and co-op. That's the thing. It's got co-op. You can have up to 3-player co-op,
Yeah.
or you can play with your buddies with 4-player game modes or 6-player game modes.
wow.
And then there's the raids, which Destiny's raids. That's where that's their
That's
staple.
where it shines.
Well, yeah,
You
exactly.
get the most fun and the craziest experiences and boss fights out of any game from a Destiny raid.
And that says something when you're talking about first-person shooter of 2018.
Yeah, because Battlefield 5. Let's
Let's be honest. No.
Sorry guys, but
no,
that's not my choice.
Not mine.
No.
They really kind of dropped the ball.
Well, you know, like we said, leaving you wanting more. Battlefield 5 is that way. They've added a couple new things like building, you know, small structures
Yeah.
to protect points and things like that, like, which is a cool addition to the game because Battlefield's a fun game where you play with lots of people on the same maps, whether it be your friends or just other people on your team. And it's still, as a Battlefield game goes, it's still a great Battlefield game. But it's the same Battlefield game. And as far as a shooter goes, it deserves to be on this list. But as far as win this list, I don't think it stands up to some of these other games.
Well,
No.
when we talk about a new shooter, though, is Overkill's The Walking Dead. Yeah. You enjoyed that a lot.
I did.
Where a lot of people did not.
Yeah.
Right? The experience isn't there for a lot of us.
Yeah.
The co-op is, it's always something that's been, but for
touchy.
zombies are so overdone.
Yes.
Coming from a Telltale fan of The Walking Dead themselves, right? Like it's but
That
the
well's
genre-
running dry.
It is really running
is.
dry. But is there enough there for first-person shooter of the year, Randall?
I don't think so because like I think everybody's in that mindset where they're like, you know, at first it was like, oh my god, it's a wave of zombies, what are we gonna do? And now it's like, oh, it's a wave of zombies. What will
Yeah,
I do?
it's just another zombie. Here we go, right?
What season is this? Season 15 of Walking Dead, sir? Or is
Yeah.
this season 10? Or what?
Sorry, would new content kill you guys? Just saying.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
I don't know. First-person shooter of the year. What are we thinking there, guys?
and the winner is Destiny 2 Forsaken from Bungie.
right, our next category is Best Ongoing Game. Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft.
Destiny 2 Forsaken, Bungie.
Fortnite, Epic Games.
Red Dead Online, Rockstar.
Overwatch, Blizzard. All right, guys. Best ongoing game. There's some good ones here. Some big titles, esports titles.
It's a solid
A couple
lineup.
new ones in there.
Yeah, so obviously Nate and I are huge Rainbow guys.
I am too. I love Rainbow. I mean, I'm there with you. I
You
was
never
I was-
get the heck off of Fortnite
Yeah,
to join
I
us,
was, I, was,
maybe.
I was a launch Rainbow guy. I mean, I was through
Yeah.
the tough times, the dark ages
Yeah.
of Rainbow Six
It's
Siege.
come so far,
It has.
though,
It certainly
right?
has.
More operators. The operators are not stopping. The maps keep growing. Just the experience of the game overall, because now you're counteracting so many different operators
The game
all the
balance
time.
is pretty unbelievable. I mean, I took a big hiatus from that game. And when I hopped back on, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing for the first little bit. There's so many new operators, there's so many new levels, but the thing is there's still a balance. Like, you can play with those original operators, and they still hold strong against some of the new operators. They just find a way to balance this game. I mean, that's why it's an esports title. This game's so popular,
Sure.
and it plays so well. I can understand, and they just keep updating it, right? You keep getting new operators,
Always.
the new season, and they give you, the roadmap for each season, so you can see what's coming and when it's coming, and it's like that's what keeps people playing, right? They want to see what the
It's
new operators
fan
are
service is what that is.
Yeah.
Is here's your lineup, here's what's coming. We're into year 4 now of operators and maps, right? Like, that says something right there. That's a great title.
And honestly, just as like an extra feature, they with the Ubisoft Club, which doesn't cost any money, it's just this free thing that you sign up with your email attached to your account, and they give you all sorts of rewards. So like every week, they give you bonus XP and in-game currency,
Yep.
and then on top of that, there's usually like a gun charm or a gun skin or something that every week that they give you. That you just have to like get 20 drone kills as Rook or whatever it'll be,
Yeah.
right?
Little
It's just like little
challenges.
easy challenges.
on top
Where-
of the challenges you already get in the game.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little bonus. I hear
It's
what
just
you're
like,
saying.
it's just nice to get free stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's not easy. This is the one knock I'll give Rainbow. It's not easy to earn things in that game.
It is not. It is
No.
a grind.
Yeah, I mean,
get
if you want to
stuff
buy
in
an
that game.
operator with renown, you're looking at 25,000 renown. If anybody's played this game, they know getting 25,000 renown, even playing rank.
You're higher
or
than
high,
that now.
Yeah,
You're higher.
Yeah,
It's higher.
It's wild.
25
it's very
renown
it's
is-
very difficult.
Is one of the that's for like an older skin. The newer
Yeah.
skins now, holy crap, you're like 30, 40.
And some of the accessories for the outfits and stuff like that are 25, 30, 40.
And they're
It's-
not all bought or purchased with renown either. You
No.
actually have to come out and physically pay cash.
Yeah.
And that one kind of burns me a little bit.
That's what I didn't like. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it does, but I think with a lot of those proceeds all work towards the esport events. So like, if you look some of the skins for esport teams, like all
Yeah, sure.
those proceeds go towards tournaments
Yeah.
and bringing life to those events that we go to.
Yeah, that's fair,
You know,
right?
and Mortal Kombat's the same way. They kind of do that. They have all sorts of skins, and they'll have a written description saying like, "Oh, this dollar goes towards future tournaments." And I don't know. Like I hear you. I hate microtransactions.
Yeah, you're one of the
Yeah, you're a
worst.
big guy for that. You're a big guy for
I
that.
hate them, but
Yeah.
this game, they do nail you, man. I hate to say it, they do nail you. They're pretty bad.
That's fair. But if you're gonna go with a competitor, Overwatch is a solid one.
And here's the thing: all maps free, all characters free.
Which is huge.
And the game is so big, it is ongoing. And you know what the best part about it is?
Balance.
So if you jump into Rainbow and you don't know that operator, man, that is hard to learn.
It's a very difficult
It's
game.
a learning curve with
Yeah.
Rainbow, right?
Yeah.
But if you jump into Overwatch, it's just like a pickup and away you go.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like that kind of arcadey first-person shooter that everybody's played at one point.
Yeah.
If they've played video games, they've played a first-person shooter that plays like Overwatch. Overwatch just has all these extra things when it comes to the abilities of the characters and there's 30 plus characters in that game now. It's
Sure.
And the game, like Rainbow, is so balanced still. They find ways to, even with the new characters that they add in,
Yeah.
it still keeps a balance with the game. So you can play as anybody, and you're not at a disadvantage. You just have to learn how to use those characters and exploit other characters. And that's what I love Overwatch for that. It's just so much fun. It's a game you can jump into. You don't have to be great at it to understand how to play it.
But if you are,
Whew.
then you just elevate everything to a whole other level,
You might find
right?
yourself in a stadium one day playing for a team.
Wow,
and that's how big that game is. That's
That's right.
There's
That's
so
true,
much
too.
support for that game. It's difficult, and it holds such a high regard against even all these other games. I mean, Fortnite's in there. Those are tough games to beat out, but Overwatch has been there, and they've been doing it for a while now, and that's for them. That's huge.
What about Red Dead Online? It's back, right? And everybody wants this. I know I want it.
Yeah.
And they're constantly updating, which Rockstar is very good at.
Infancy stage right now. though.
It's so early,
It's still
right?
so
That's
new.
I think that's the biggest thing when you're competing up against Fortnite or Overwatch or Rainbow with Red Dead. It's so new that they're still kind of just getting their feet wet and figuring out where the problems are
Yeah.
to resolve those. It's good. It's got a solid foundation, but I don't think it's quite there for.
No.
Yeah,
That's
watch out for them next year.
Yeah, because they'll still be going,
let's
right?
See,
'Cause
yeah, let's see what Red Dead Online brings for 2019. Yeah, I bet they'll be back on this list.
It's too big
flying
right
horses. We're gonna have flying horses by then. 'Cause GTA Alliance is
Unicorns.
completely different. Right?
Yeah, that is. You can do quite a bit of different things in GTA Online. But again, that's one thing Rockstar does is that they'll give the community what they want, and they'll keep adding stuff into the online throughout the rest of the year. I mean, for the next few years, probably. Like this game is Rockstar's baby, and they're gonna take care of the
GTA
community.
Online ain't going nowhere.
No,
No, it's not.
You can still
Right?
hop on, and it's a
For a while.
totally different game than it was a year ago,
Yeah,
and
it
then the
is.
year before, and the year before. It's
But
crazy
Red
now.
Dead is so early, right? Getting back to it,
Yeah.
it is too early, I
Yeah.
think, to reward them with Online of the Year because there isn't. I don't feel there's enough there yet. There's lots to do, right? With shootouts and
Yeah.
races and this, that, and the other. And they actually came with a story for the online component.
Which
Like,
is
how cool is that?
Yeah.
It is so good.
I didn't expect that when I hopped
I didn't
in.
expect it.
No,
I jumped in.
not
I'm
at
like,
all.
oh, you mean like this isn't just way to go?
Yeah.
It is if you want to just go.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
But you posse up, which, man, it took me forever to get enough money
It
to
was a
get that
grind.
posse. But I got it, and then they passed it, and I was just like, man, just like a little bit sooner, guys. Would have been nice. Right? But again, it was really good, and they're there. And Rockstar's not going anywhere. They always seem to listen and iterate and update
Yes.
and
Yeah.
this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So it's close. Honestly, it's pretty close for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at Fortnite, Destiny 2.
Destiny 2 really have enough, though.
I don't think so. Compared to these other titles, no, they're not the best ongoing game. Yes, their DLC is amazing.
Yeah,
and
Forsaken
it's
it hard,
what people
and I think that's
want.
why they're on this list because they improved the game so much with that DLC.
Yeah.
It
But
brought a lot of people back.
It's just, it's not enough content.
What's
in
next?
Regular.
Are they going to have anything?
It's not like, well, they have the roadmap for up to, I guess, next September.
Yeah.
Which, it looks good, but it doesn't look, you don't look at that and be like, wow, that is actually like thousands of hours that I could sink in.
Sure.
Not that you want to sink in. Maybe it is that much content. but
Yeah.
It's just, it's not Fortnite where it's like, oh, this week we got a sword. It's
Well,
like, oh, what?
you brought it up, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is Fortnite.
And
Like,
it is
honestly,
an elephant.
It is.
It's a giant money elephant. But you know, it's for good reason.
It's stepping
for
on
good
top of
reason.
everything,
Yeah.
right? It's at the top each and every week. Streamers are all over it. Everybody's on this thing. My kid's on it. And as much as it's a feeling, right? This game, I don't want to play it. To me, I jump in and I'm dead instantly. I can't build quick enough
Yeah.
to survive. But yet you watch the battle pass and you take a look at what's in the battle pass. That battle pass is fantastic.
For the
cheap.
value,
The value is
what you get.
incredible.
Oh.
They're always updating with new skins. The map is constantly changing. They're dropping
Every
some
single
kind of
week.
funky thing within the map. It was a cube, and the cube's gone. Now it's a snow portion of the map. Like it's just
There's always something changing.
it's always rotating, and there's nothing. No other company out there right now
doing
is doing anything remotely close to this.
No, and that's why that's a big reason for Fortnite's success is that you're getting a new update every week. Whether it's a slight gameplay change, something on the maps changing, you're getting a new item, whether it be a weapon or
New
a
game
consumable,
mode.
a new game mode, which is they're just rolling out game modes right now. Every single day right now, there's a new game mode to try out.
That's
Whether
crazy.
they've had it in the past or not, there's so many options to play this game now. And it's free to play. You don't have to pay anything to play this game.
That's
But
the other
thing is,
thing, right?
This game makes the most money out of all these games, probably almost out of these games combined.
Yeah.
And that's what's wild about it is that people are giving money to this game because it's that good and they just want to keep playing it. I mean, I've been stuck in this Fortnite whirlwind for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
But it's the one game that I can hop on and play, and I know what I'm getting, but it's different every time. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what these battle royale games are like, right? I mean, you're playing on the same maps, but in Fortnite, yeah, it's the same map, but man, has it ever changed since season 1. There's so many different things. It's completely different map almost in comparison to what it used to be.
It really is. Like, I'm a PUBG guy, and there are things about Fortnite that I can't deny. Like, I wish PUBG updated their content like Fortnite did.
Yeah.
Like, PUBG has almost become kind of stagnant. Like, yeah, we've had a few new maps come out.
Yeah.
But I wish we had new mechanics, like the planes and the balloons and
Yeah.
like sword. Like, I wish PUBG had all that.
Yeah.
Creative mode.
when they released the creative mode, I'm like, I hope they allow people to put stuff into the game. And then they came out with the block, and now there's been, I think, 3 or 4 block updates now where it's crazy bounce pad arena
See,
right
And
now.
honestly, for me, that's where I'm gonna get sucked back in because I'm a creative guy. I can spend a lot of time just doing that.
You don't even have to play the Battle Royale mode. You could just play creative and create. You got, I think, 3 different islands that you get, and you can just create whatever you want, and you can spend
so cool.
hours on that. And I mean, that's just something they just added. They said, hey, we're throwing this out here now. Have fun. So I mean, none of the games on this list have that.
Nothing really competes with this.
No.
So not to give it away, but let's wrap it up.
And the winner is Fortnite Epic Games.
Alright, so we're at the biggest disappointment of 2018. Here we go. The closing of Telltale Studios.
Battlefield 5 DICE.
Atlas Wildcard.
Fallout 76, Bethesda Game Studios.
And the announcement of Sony not being at E3 2019. Like, what's going on? Alright, boys, what are our thoughts?
This
go.
this is a weird topic. Honestly, this one's funny, right? Because
It's not quite games. It's the video game community here.
This
Yeah.
is a little kind of our little input on this whole.
yeah, it's just one of those years. Honestly, 2018 is a fantastic year.
Yeah.
But it's had some low moments, and one of my
absolutely.
biggest lows is the closing of Telltale Studios, because man, that one hurt a lot, right? But things have bounced back with Skybound coming in. But to lose a whole studio, who has built one of probably my favorite games of all time, and a character within Clem, that hurts. Like, it hurts so much. And the other games and the people that were involved in all of this, what a mess
Yeah, really.
that really turned out to be.
Well, I mean, again, it's the Walking Dead series, and when Telltale first started making this game, The Walking Dead was, in popularity-wise, especially on television and stuff like that, was still huge. There was a huge following.
Yeah.
When that game came out, it was very exciting. A lot of people, wanted to play this alternate storyline where they walk through and they, the way Telltale does their games, it's fun to play.
Yeah.
You're not, you're playing, but you're not. You're reading, you're watching,
Yep.
but they involve you, and that's what's fun about those games. And when they're making a game that's that good and then they shut down,
It's rough.
it's tough, right? Especially for you. You've played through the series so much, you got to a point where, okay, what's the next thing? And they're saying, hey, we're closing up shop. And now we don't know.
2 episodes in at that point, right? The final season. They're 2 episodes in to The Walking Dead and done. Where goes Clem from here then, right? Like, everybody's left hanging now at that point. Are we going to finish her story? Obviously, it turns out that yes, we are going to.
Yeah.
But now, no more Wolf Among Us. That was amazing. The Wolf Among Us
I
was
played through
so
that.
good.
That was fun. That was a
Like, it
lot
was
of
incredible. But they did Sam and Max.
Yep.
I like that. I honestly
Back to the
like
Future.
The Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you like that one too?
I actually really liked it, man. Probably
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
A lot of good games in there.
And so many things.
Like, that's what I mean. Such a high degree of a studio, and it's just like, what happened?
Gone.
Like, I don't understand it. They knew the trouble they were getting into, but the company themselves, right, the developers within the studio didn't have a clue and were just completely blindsided.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and you don't want to see something like that happen to anybody in any occupation. But when we're considering the video game community, this was a huge shutdown.
Yeah, it hurts me. It's like a hole in my heart now.
Well, let's cover up that hole
right.
with the skin that Battlefield used for Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
To me, this was one of my biggest disappointments.
Yep.
I came from playing Battlefield 1 religiously every day. I love that game. It was so much fun playing with friends, just playing Conquest Online. Great game. It was awesome. The action was unbelievable. Like, it was one of those few games where when you're wearing that headset, it's so immersive. The explosions going on everywhere. It's wild.
Yeah.
But then Battlefield 5 came out, and everybody's excited because it's another Battlefield game.
Sure.
What are they going to do this time? And it looked, you were in different areas of the world now. We're back to the World War scene.
Yeah.
But man, did it feel like I was playing the same game, just with a different map.
They told the fans not to buy the game, and that's kind of what happens.
Who does that?
Yeah.
And like World War II
Idiot.
cyborgs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
and they got rid of that, and
Yeah.
trying to help save the game, but it didn't.
But the thing is that when you
Too little,
release a
too
game
late.
on launch and you're putting alternate storylines from history that everybody knows. I mean, there's been so many World War games
Yes.
that we all know how it went down, the events of how it went down. Yeah, we've all played different versions of how it happened.
Yeah.
But Battlefield kind of went a little too far this time.
Yeah, and not to mention, this is a huge thing, and this is something I found out recently. There is, I think it might have been one of the DLC storyline modes, but there's this whole war, and they're like, you go in, guns a-blazing, and you wipe out everything. And little do we actually know that this is a real battle that took place, but it was a whole group of people that didn't shoot one bullet, and they went in silent and cleared out the whole place.
Really?
So, like, for me personally, I think that's disrespectful. It's like, oh, we're gonna reimagine. Like, didn't even mention afterwards when you beat it. Like, have something be like, these guys actually, you did it like this, but really, back in the
happened
day,
like this.
it happened like this.
this,
Do
yeah.
something to respect. All that Battlefield 5 did was disrespect World War II.
It's a touchy subject. Let's be honest, guys. This is a video game,
Yeah.
right? You're playing a game, man. You can.
It can be
creative
unrealistic.
license,
Yeah, it's-
right? That's
yeah,
you
it's
kind of look at it.
That's where people are like, I play Battlefield because it feels like I'm in a war. I don't like when I played
Yeah.
5 the whole time. I'm like, these maps are boring. They suck at like the customization is garbage.
Sure.
They've taken out weapons and stuff from Battlefield 1. Like, it's just like, and they're like, oh, in 3 weeks from release, we have our new story. It's like, this is what we were talking about earlier. It's like,
Yeah.
have your full game upon release.
Yeah.
I don't want
Exactly.
DLC in 3 weeks.
And their single
No.
player in
Why?
that game was weak.
Weak.
Like you could play through the 3 different campaigns in less than 6 hours. And I mean, again, like, going back to Call of Duty from earlier, it's
Yeah.
you want that. You play those games because their stories were good. Like Battlefield 1 story was awesome. Like it wasn't super long, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed playing it. I mean, it could have been longer. And Battlefield's moving away. Like everybody's moving away from single player because
Which-
everybody plays online.
It's
now.
disappointing.
It is.
Silly when you
Yes.
look at games like Red Dead, God of War, where it's like God of War, especially that is a single player experience.
We
and
play
look
for
what
the
it's
story.
done.
We play for the story, right?
Yeah.
And we're moving away from that, and that's
It's
huge
hurting
marks off.
companies.
And if you're gonna go up against titles like World War II by Call of Duty, like be authentic because
Yeah.
those guys killed it.
Yeah.
Like when I played the campaign, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It's true,
And
it's
when
a
I played
good
Battlefield 5, I'm like,
Not great.
no.
No.
Like even the Metacritic guys were like, when they,
Yeah, that's too bad.
yeah.
Battlefield 5 sucks.
Well, let's get to the next disappointment.
This one's on you there, Nate.
so
this is all yours.
Atlas.
Yeah.
All right.
Huge expectations, right? There's something here to be had, but there was nothing there.
The thing is the lies. When you watch the Game Awards and they showed the trailer for Atlas, everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, what is this game?"
I almost thought it was Conan, to be honest.
Yeah, it did
Right?
kind of look like I was
Yeah.
watching. I'm like, "Ooh, this looks like Sea of Thieves and Ark just went
Yeah,
and
sure.
formed something," and it looked amazing. And then you watch live streamers and you watch real gameplay, and it is all a lie. All of it's a lie. The game was broken. They're like, "Oh, it's coming out on December 13th, I believe." It was pushed back like 5 days, pushed back another day, pushed back another day, but it was exclusive to streamers or something. Like, just like,
Too many hiccups.
Miss after
too
miss
many,
after
yeah.
miss.
and then the game too, they're like, it just looked terrible. The people that like, the customization looked awful, and the interface, they actually have a thing like on PC where if you click on the bottom of the screen, it opens up the Arc menu, the actual Arc menu. Like,
Wow.
not Atlas menu. It says Arc something, and it
Yeah, see, you can't do that. You're
do
not
that.
playing
No.
Arc, you're playing Atlas.
no.
Don't
Atlas
copy and paste.
Should have been an Arc update.
Well,
Why
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Stop.
It would
don't
probably
try to
serve them
push-
better.
Yeah.
Because like what are they gonna do? Like they're gonna do what Arc did, and they're gonna have a pre-release, but then have DLC drops. Like that kind of stuff too irritates me. But I don't know, Atlas, you suck.
Man, you're harsh on this one, eh?
Yeah, well,
Well,
like,
let's keep the ball rolling because Fallout 76 was an absolute disaster
yeah,
this
that's
year.
why.
He's heating up, folks. He's
Oh,
heating up.
that's
here
it.
we go.
Right? Okay,
Starting to sweat.
let's talk about it because everyone loves Fallout and everybody knows going into a Bethesda Fallout title that yes, there's bugs, yes, there's hiccups, yes, there's glitches,
But there's
but it's
expectations.
okay because it's Bethesda, and then they launch Fallout 76, and everyone goes, "This is not okay."
No.
Like I think Fallout 4 everybody loved it. Or some people, I guess some people didn't love it, obviously. But majority of people liked it.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we can see past the AI talking over each other. There's like 10 people in a room, and it's like, wow. Or, you know, they're running into a wall or whatever. Like, you know, that was kind of like this is it, guys.
Yep.
Moving forward, let's
Clean
fix
this up.
this.
Yeah,
Sure.
these are the issues.
Fallout 4 was great, but I can't do this again. And what did you get with 76? Worse than Fallout 4.
It was awful.
Like 100 times worse, man.
There were so many times my character was rubber banding, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Why am I running and then backing up and then running and then backing up, and then there'd be characters jumping all over the screen, and I'm just like, this is a disaster.
And everything about it, their storage, the gameplay, the story.
Nothing about this game was fun.
There was nothing
No.
good. And again, Todd Howard, or not, I can't just blame it all on him.
No, it's
He's
Bethesda,
the voice
right?
for Bethesda. But
Sure.
Bethesda, they lied. Again, if you watch, like, they say this, and then you go to gameplay, and it's like, not that. It is far from that. It is a lie.
For such a big company like Bethesda to really misstep like this.
They really dropped the
And
ball
they
in this
really,
one.
like, haven't you guys learned from Elder Scrolls Online? That was a rough launch, man. That was really
Yeah.
rough. And this game now, it's one of the top sellers on Steam still. Which is like, just how have you guys not learned from that?
Yeah,
Learn
that's-
from Elder Scrolls, come up with a good game.
It's fair.
You know? Ugh.
It's not going well, obviously, for Fallout 76. But speaking of not even showing up, is Sony for E3 of 2019, which I am speechless.
I think the community, the whole gaming community in general is speechless because Sony's just like, hey, want to let everybody know, we're not coming this year.
Why?
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 What's
It's
going on?
Money. Like, they don't have enough. There's 93 million units sold.
91.6 million unit PS4
Get
sold.
a grip
Yeah.
and go to E3. Like,
It's a fan service though, right? That's where you're losing. I don't understand. You are at the top of your game right now with so many people, and then you pull from E3. You better have something huge besides heading to E3. That's
But
hey,
even still, I
here's
don't know
PS5.
if that's the best way for them to do it. Like, I mean,
No, not like
PlayStation's
this.
got the gumption of their own. They can do whatever they want. They've, you know, right now they're when it comes to consoles, they're the top. They're the top
They
dog.
are.
Everybody knows that the numbers don't lie. But them not coming to an event like this that's supported so heavily, and I understand E3's regressed significantly from years past.
It's definitely
but it's
changing.
still one of the biggest conferences, events out there for gaming. And when you get one of the three moguls when it comes to PC and the two consoles, I mean, I'm not gonna slight Nintendo, but let's
Sure.
get real here. They don't stand
They're
next
not
to the
big
other
at
two.
E3.
They don't. Yeah, they
No.
don't stand
Not
at the other two consoles, right?
No.
So when PlayStation's not there, like you're missing a huge piece of the pie there. And I mean, yeah, maybe they don't have anything to announce right yet because they're working on the new PlayStation.
We've
or whatever
seen
it
the
is.
lineup. That's
Tease
the
something.
thing.
Tease something.
Tease it,
Give
yeah.
us something. Even if they're there to do just an announcement, it's still better that they're there than not, I think. And for me, that's huge. And we're gonna attend E3 this year, and them not being there is a huge disappointment.
sucks.
Yeah,
That's why they've made this list.
Absolutely.
we know PS5 is coming. Like, give us something.
Yeah. That's a good spot to tease it.
Like, you know, I know they obviously have their huge fan base set.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you guys think? Like, if they don't go to E3 and they kind of have a wonky pre-launch, like, do you guys think that Xbox could stand up to it?
Absolutely. I think Xbox has a huge chance of overtaking them this coming generation.
Because for a lot of people, they don't have like that kind of attachment. Like for me, I just have had Xbox since
Sure.
the original Xbox, and I love it. So that's kind of why I'm sort of stuck with it. You know?
Yep.
But a lot of people, they're like, or parents, they're just like, oh, what's the cheapest console, or what's the newest thing that's cheaper? Okay, I'll get this. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So disappointments as a whole, guys.
Yeah.
Who's the winner of the losers?
And the worst of the worst is Fallout 76 by Bethesda.
All right, guys. Best co-op game 2018. Monster Hunter World, Capcom.
State of Decay 2, Undead Labs.
Destiny 2, Forsaken, Bungie.
Overcooked 2, Team 17.
Far Cry 5, Ubisoft.
Sea of Thieves, Rare.
All right, guys. We got a good list of games here. Let's start off with Monster Hunter World.
Okay, so I've never played a Monster Hunter title at all. So jumping into Monster Hunter World with Nate and just going through and experiencing everything in these monsters and all these creatures and then building up my suit and then doing it together was so cool. I was just, man, that's just a different experience I've never had before in a co-op game.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to match that experience that you get, because with a game like that, there are so many things you can do, and absolutely everything you do in the game actually benefits you. Every not dinosaur, too much art. Too much, any of the monsters that you kill, you obtain material from them, and that material you then build weapons or armor. And every piece of weapon and armor has buffs and debuffs and that kind of stuff. So it's just like that game, man. It is so cool. Like, there's just so much content there, and it's all free.
But to launch the co-op side of things within the story was cumbersome as heck.
What do you mean?
Well, because when we had to party up,
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It wasn't right away. You had to.
no, you couldn't go out together. It was a weird experience that you had to actually start it and then meet in the lobby and then take off to the. I'm like, why would you just let's go?
Yeah.
And away we go, like every other game, right?
Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. Like, he just had to play for maybe like an hour or something to get through the tutorial kind of thing.
But some of it was just really awkward, and it shouldn't have been that awkward. But for the experience that I had and enjoyed, it was really, really cool and something I've never had before.
A lot of weapons that you can
Oh,
pick from. There's
man.
too many styles, and when you get that, when you could actually have a 16-man raid team, that is a lot of communication and a lot of stuff happening. That you don't get in a lot of games. So Monster Hunter World's
You're reaching
really-
an MMO realm at that point when you're bringing that many people in for something like that.
It is.
Right?
It's like an MMORPG, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's like a community, and if you're going to build a community, you can also talk about Undead Labs game with State of Decay 2.
Yes, community-based, big time.
Exactly, right? You're going in, you're trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. I know it's
Zombies.
right? We've all been there, but
done.
State of Decay from Undead Labs, these guys are just, this is what they hone in on. And State of Decay 2 really stepped it up from the original and then the remaster. And I love that game to go in with some friends, and build your community. Take care of other people, kind of make sure that they're healthy and stuff, and then all of a sudden you get, look for resources and manage all that stuff, and then build and craft, and
it's like a simulator more than like a third-person kind of shooter
That's fair.
slash RPG, right? It's a simulator at that point. It's a survival simulator, and it's a cool game. And when you're jumping on playing with other people, it's a lot of fun. I mean, when you can involve your friends in any type of game, it obviously enhances your experience. But these games that make this list, when you're playing with your friends, it changes the game completely, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So changing the game completely. Destiny 2,
Nicely done.
Forsaken,
Yes.
DLC.
Big changes.
We know how you feel about this. So
Yeah, you just sit there.
I mean, they changed the game completely. They came out with a DLC that made everybody want to play the game again.
Yeah, and together. It's not just single player. You can do single player, but when you bring in the co-op experience, it just elevates everything to a different level. And the gun mechanics within Destiny is just,
next to none in my
it's one of the best. Yeah, I can't compare with anything else. I love it.
And then speaking of mechanics, we got Overcooked 2.
Those are some simple mechanics with a tough game of throwing some food around. Right?
You know what it is? It's a simple game, but the learning curve is difficult depending on how you play the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's a co-op based game, but solo in that game is almost near impossible. But you need a friend for this game. That's why this game makes this list. You need somebody to play this game
an
with.
angry girlfriend.
It shines with others. That's what this game does. Overcooked 2 is fantastic.
Yeah, it's bonkers, and that's really what the game is.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But a good thing, Far Cry 5, bringing some co-op to Far Cry finally.
It was there in 4 in a different atmosphere, but yeah, they went from the ground, right from the get-go, you can go co-op all the way through the entire game, and you and I did this a lot, and it was fun. It was chaotic, and it's more Far Cry, though. That's the only thing. Whether you do a single player or with someone, that's what I just said, though, right? That co-op experience adds stuff, and I didn't feel it really added too much when it came to Far Cry 5.
It wasn't like this breaking co-op experience.
Still talking about Overcooked, right? Yeah, no, it was fun though. Like, we had a good time when we were playing. But yeah, when you look at the other games that are on this, and you get probably one of our favorites of the entire year. We're not going to give too much away. Sailing the Seas is like no other in Sea of Thieves.
Oh man.
This year, or sorry, not this year, last year,
Yeah.
me and you, Kyle and my brother, we went and set out and we went and fought the Megalodon. I think that was my second or my top. But that moment right there when we were all sitting there playing the drums and sailing to where we had to go, I had so much laughter and such a good time. And then they came out with the other DLC with the ghost skellies, ghost pirate ships, and that was probably the best. Because then you have 2-3 other ships, however many people you could find, and we had a big crew a few times. And everyone's just fighting together and coordinating. It was a
What
blast.
Rare created here in Sea of Thieves had a slow start, but where it's elevated to now. So you go in co-op, bring up your ship of 4 people, and then they said, oh, now we're gonna let you bring alliances into the mix. So now you got your 4 with another 4 and another 4, and like, okay, so I'm actually making more friends on the game that aren't necessarily there to help sometimes, but they are. It's just wow to see how they've created a big community to try and go fight a Megalodon or the Skellies, or like it's just the Kraken comes up and sinks your ship and you're yelling for help and they're like, see you later.
Everybody has a job in this game. So it involves everybody. And if you don't do your job, it becomes inherently clear that something is going wrong. Because
Why
if
is
you're
the
not
sail raised?
exactly, why are we going against the wind? Why aren't we moving things? Are the cannonballs loaded? Where are the bananas? Do we need who's looking at the map? There's so many jobs to have, and when you got 4 people and you've got that big galleon sailing through, everybody's got to be on point. The communication's key, and that's what makes it fun. Because when you roll up on some skellies or another group, like you want to be coordinated because you want to take them down because they're coming right after you too. And it's like this game is just so much fun. It looks so good. It's got this cartoony feel to it, but it's still the realism of how good the water looks. Like this, when I first fired up this game, I was like, yeah, the sunsets, all the solar flares that you get, everything. It looks
the
so
customization within this game now is so deep. Like this is a perfect time to get into Sea of Thieves. It is incredible.
You know what hooks me, and it's funny, and this is no pun intended, is having a hook hand and driving the boat in first person, and you see that hook come across, so you're steering, and you're like, all right, I'm steering this boat, and I've got a hook for a hand. And it's, that's what makes this game so much fun. Like you said, slow start, but it was even fun when it first came out, especially if you were playing with other people. And now they've expanded this game to a point where like there's so much to do. I mean, that's what makes it fun. You hop on with 4 of your friends or 3 of your friends, and you just have a blast.
Absolutely.
If we got to pick a winner, guys, I think it's going to be, and the winner is Sea of Thieves Rare.
'2018 was a big year, guys. So, game of the year. Let's talk about it. Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar Games.
God of War, Sony Santa Monica Studios.
Marvel's Spider-Man, Insomniac Games.
Forza Horizon 4, Microsoft Studios, Playground Games.
Sea of Thieves, Rare Studios.
Monster Hunter World, Capcom.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Nintendo.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Ubisoft.
Detroit Become Human, Quantic Dreams. All right, guys, so game of the year, obviously the biggest game that we want to talk about. Thoughts, where are we kind of sitting with this? Kind of like Red Dead is up there, I gotta be honest.
Big titles, man. This isn't an easy choice. There's a lot of good games on this list.
Yeah, for sure.
It's, for me though, I'm looking at Red Dead, Super Smash, because that's just nostalgia for me. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to feel that way. Sea of Thieves is up there. I think that's an underrated game a lot of people don't think about because of when it was released in 2018.
Yes, for sure.
And there's some God of War, Marvel Spider-Man. I mean, I got to go through the whole list, man. I got good things to say about all these games.
That's very true, right? But you gotta focus on graphics, gameplay, story, what's there. Are you still playing that game even though it comes out so early in the year? Is it still something you kind of think about? Because honestly, Monster Hunter World, fantastic game, but as the year goes on, then you're introduced to Spider-Man, God of War, Detroit Become Human, so now you kind of lose track of some of these other games, and you need to know, like, is it gonna be lasting for this year, and you're gonna still think about it come next year? Yeah. That is kind of that game of the year, right?
And that's where I think, like, for me, Monster Hunter World, they kill it because they have no microtransactions, they have no, all their DLC is free. Okay. They have a huge roadmap for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, they nailed it for that as far as it goes, you know, and like for being a game that came out in January and still to be on the list is It's pretty good, man.
That's pretty telling, let's be honest, right? I can't help but talk about Insomniac's game Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man this year was fantastic.
Yeah.
The story, it revived such a nostalgia feel for Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man from like PS1.
Yeah.
And then I've gone through a ton of crap Spider-Man games that have just been awful. So for Insomniac to bring something and it feels so true to what Spider-Man is now, it's just fantastic. Like, I love that game. And then the DLC that's dropping with the game is not free.
No.
Right? You need the season pass to get it. But there's 3 pieces, and there are full story modes
They're adding
for
quite a
them.
bit.
Yeah, it's not just like here's an extra level kind of thing.
Boss wants them dead.
Looks like the demons are moving in on Fisk's territory.
You got this?
I got this.
Sea of Thieves, that's where they kind of really, a lot of people like, they tried it and they're like, nah, it's not that great, but if you were to try it now, it's like,
It's a different game.
It's a different game.
It's a different game.
And it's amazing.
But is that too little too late, though?
I don't think so, no.
2018 is 2018, whether it's the beginning or the end. They are there at the beginning, and it wasn't very good, but now that the end of 2018, right?
It's not always easy to push that DLC out either, right? I mean, depending on what that DLC is going to entail for the game. I mean, so Sea of Thieves has done a couple DLC installments since the release, and I mean, on release the game was, I would say, hollow. You know what I mean? The game, it looked beautiful and it drew everybody in because of how the game looked.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a whole lot to do. I mean, you could do everything, then you find yourself you're just sailing around for a couple hours. And that was about it. But since the DLC's dropped, I mean, the adventures you can go on with your friends, it's unbelievable.
They fixed so many things, man, just to make it, you know, that really good game.
And you can't forget about Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft is killing it.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was fantastic. It is so
game.
big. And then the DLC drops on those. Holy man, like this game of the year is tough.
Yeah.
For me, Silver Bullet definitely has to be Detroit. You have the gameplay, you have the storyline, you have beautiful graphics, gameplay is intuitive.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect in the game, and there are so many different variations of endings, character plots. I'm still finding new things in the game. For me, it just never gets old.
That's true. It's one of those games you can go back and go a different path, right?
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Forza into it just because if anybody's played any sort of racing game in their life, when you look at a game like Forza 4, it's
gorgeous.
Stunning.
Yeah,
stunning.
Really
and I mean, you can't carry yourself to Game of the Year on graphics alone. I mean, the gameplay in Forza is great, but it's a racing game, so you know what you're getting. They make the list, I think, because of how the game looks and how it feels when you're playing it. But again,
it's
a
niche.
It's there's no other racing games like it, and I think that's why they make the list.
Santa Monica Studios with God of War this year, a relaunch of such a iconic character for PlayStation. Kratos is back, but he's different. He's so different because I hated God of War. Kratos, to me, was just the guy that yelled a lot, right? But now
that's fair though. That's a fair thing to say.
It just all he was screaming slash stuff, and that goes so far when it's old gen. Now that we're into, well, honestly, we're heading into next gen for PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
But for this year, bringing back God of War, it was a whole brand new experience with Kratos. And then the introduction of his son, and the way the world was crafted, and the villains, and the characters you interact with, and the storytelling just carried you through one moment into the next moment and into the next.
You care about the characters, like...
You get so invested into a game like that where they spend so much time building the characters. And like you said, he's so different in this game compared to all the other God of War games.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where the story beats Red Dead in a sense that Red Dead, you're getting into that cowboy simulator again. You know what you're getting into. Obviously, the story's a little bit different in the way things go. The game is just so huge on the retrospect of how big the map is and when you're traveling around, how it looks.
Yeah.
It's those two games for me. I'm having a tough time deciding between those two personally.
I find Red Dead and Kratos are just like Arthur Morgan is there, but it's just they're two different experiences.
Yeah.
So it's honestly it's a feel of what you're after at the time. Sometimes you go into a game and you go, this is kind of what I feel like playing at the moment. Let's go slash something and get a touching story with Kratos. Touching. Never thought I'd say that in the same sentence when I talk about God of War, right? A touching story. Who would have thought that one? But then when you, but then when you jump in with Arthur Morgan, that's a whole other experience in itself.
It's a different speed.
It's just a completely different speed.
Yeah.
It's so slow,
Those
but
two
it's
games,
so well.
man, have just set the bar high for like hopefully next gen consoles. This is what I hope to see.
But the movement in Spider-Man though, like the way I swung through, like there was a bunch of beams that were in the way, and he turned sideways and just slid right through them, and I just and
So
it continued
fluid,
on.
yeah.
It was like seamless.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been wanting a Spider-Man like this for so long.
Yeah, they have the ability to make
finally
a
have
game
it.
look like that now, and they
And play it.
nailed it with that game.
Yeah.
It's. I'm telling you, this is such a tough list.
Yeah.
Such a tough
Well, let's
list.
make a decision then.
All right. So, the winner of the game of the year is
Close your
God of War, Sony Santa Monica Studios.
your heart to their suffering.
We're slaves to the violent chaos of this world. But there was one among us
And lastly, to wrap up the show, some honorable mentions. Most anticipated game of
to
2019.
lead us out of
Winner
darkness.
goes to Anthem from
The ones who
BioWare.
followed became the Legion of Dawn and protected those who could not protect themselves. In the end, she traded her life for our future.
Language humans understand. Numerous storefronts have been
And to end off the awards, Best Single Player Experience. With its multi-branching storyline, it goes to Detroit Become Human from Quantic Dream.
Property was damaged and fires continue to rage in several major districts across the city.
Some people are asking, have androids become a threat to our security?
They're coming.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit us up over at InsideTheGame.ca. This was the very first ITG Video Game Awards. Let us know over on the site what you thought should win for some of these games. Nate, each and every week we wrap it up with some game clip. Who do we got this week?
This week we got my good old buddy Floral Duchess with a team wipe in Rainbow Six Siege.
Nice, let's check it out.
Last operator standing. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.